Okay, my interweb friends, I'm back over at Maximilian's shop with Denny, seeing how the project's coming on. Yep, that back window opening looks totally factory, but it isn't. It's different. Even the trunk opening's been changed to conform to the back window glass which is going in here. What's he up to up front here? Holy Toledo, Batman, what are you doing?
Yeah, making this windshield fit.
Man, check that out. He's making the pillars wider. And to tell you the truth, I think that looks bloody fantastic. Yeah, those pillars always look a bit narrow, didn't they there, Denny?
Yeah, they were too narrow to begin with, so we'll kill two birds with one stone. We'll make them a little wider and make this windshield fit flush mount.
Wow. Now look what he's doing. He's actually decided to take the factory glass, which is relatively inexpensive, build out the pillars and custom fit it so that he has a modern looking window arrangement. Oh man, that's poetry there, Denny.
Yeah, we're a little tight right here, so I use some rod. The rod's highly adjustable. I can move that rod in, set my gap, and it gives you something to weld to without having a bunch of burn through.
Wow, that's mind-boggling. Man, that's just going to fit in there. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, not too bad.
That's crazy that you can do things like that. Anyway, that's coming along really nice. I'll get a couple more videos over the next few days and send it to my interweb friends. So we're back with the Camaro build, and we were here yesterday looking at what Denny was doing with the front pillars to fit a standard front window in, but to make it flush mounted like a modern car. And we decided to go that route because the window's relatively cheap, and also, you know, windows get chipped and can get broken, so you don't want to be putting a really expensive window in if that ever happens. And I think Denny really wanted to do this anyway because he's been toying with the idea of how to make a standard window flush mounted. So it's pretty incredible. He's welding right now, so let me zoom in on this side here. But if you guys watched the video yesterday, you would see how he was widening the pillar on this side. Now, I think he said he went with about 3/8 or something like that, or 3/16. But anyway, you saw it yesterday, and he's made it wider, but you can't tell. And it's actually a nice look. And he's welding in a lip here as the windows being installed differently, probably with an epoxy. And it's just really really amazing what you can do with a little bit of knowledge, or maybe in Denny's case with quite a lot of knowledge. But coming along really nicely, and Maximilian's very happy about it too. So if you guys have been following the videos of this build, you will remember when this whole section of the back window here was cut open, and Denny was showing us how he was lowering the panel and changing the bends and stuff. But you know, and I showed you it when it was before it was reprimed, and it was all metal to the edges. But I mean, look how nice that is. I mean, that's all metal. He's even cut down here and reshaped this, and it actually caused him to change into the trunk slightly. Because on the back window, we are going to use the Fessler glass. But because of a few issues with the glass for the front window, we decided to go with regular front windscreen. And Denny had wanted to try to do a flush mounted regular window, and he wanted to customize the car for that for a while and see how possible it was. And it's probably going to be something that people are going to start doing, but it's a really great thing. But as you can see, the seams are perfect. Right, so this is how Denny sets up his welding. So on this side, he's tacked this in place, and he does it kind of like this, you know, for several reasons. One, he can adjust it, and you know, they've been, you know, pre-fitting the glass and stuff to see how it looks, and you know, it allows him to just grind off those little spot welds, cut it, move it and stuff. But you know, also when you do finally have the shape you want, you're still going to spot weld it like that to get it in position. But then he comes over and he does a continuous spot welds like that, which he can grind down quite lightly and make it perfect. And he has the airline here, which he'll cool down the welding with, because obviously you don't want to warp anything.
And then I'll also come in from the back and I'll hit that at a 45. And we'll run that seam all the way down with continuous tack.
Oh wow.
With a 45.
Man, so I mean, you really can't beat that. So, you know, he just doesn't make it look pretty. I mean, this guy, I mean, he's welding both sides, which you're never going to see, because he does not want that to leak any water. And, you know, also that is a structural part, even though he hasn't really affected the original pillar. But it's going to be even stronger than the original pillar was, because it's actually wider now.
Yeah, and the other issue you run into with a flush mount is you run into urethane ooze, where the urethane window sealant is actually pouring over the edge. So I've laid this extra seam in there and butted it up against the factory interior to where it's just out of sight. Even from a hard angle, you won't be able to see the urethane. And we'll black out the windshield accordingly. So when you do this addition, you'll lay your windshield in and you'll put your masking tape, give yourself an extra 1/4 inch, and that'll lay your line for the black paint, your black primer you're going to apply to the back of the window.
That's really awesome. And you said something about drilling the inside of it to seal the inside of the pillar or something?
Yeah, when you're all done welding, you have to remember anytime you add electrolysis and heat to metal, it's prone to rust and corrosion. So we're going to do 3/4 inch hole saw, 3/4 inch hole saw, 3/4 inch hole saw right here, and we're going to come in and undercoat and seam seal all this and rust proof it from inside out.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It sounds like a tremendous amount of work, but really, if you want a car which is going to last forever, if it's looked after, this is the way to do it. And yeah, it's just really nice to see something done so perfectly. We've been doing the videos of the progress of this build on this 71 Camaro, and I haven't really gone into, you know, what our aim is for this car. But anyway, this is my son's car, and he wanted a pro touring car, but he just wants it to like be the best of the best and really stand out. But he does want to use it, and it's going to have a modern Chevy engine in it, which I put in, it's going to be supercharged. And you know, we've put a Ford 9-inch axle together for it, and it's having frame connectors and Ridetec suspension, and it's got many modifications on this car, which on the surface you wouldn't really notice, but I mean, everything has been finessed. Anyway, I've done a few videos of the different pieces and stuff of this car, but I just wanted to do a quick video of what we're just planning to do with it. Yeah, Denny's been working on it with us, and he's doing 99% of the work on this particular car. And you know, as you can see, it's got a different bell housing in there, really large, for a transmission that's going in there. And then when we get round to that stage, I'll tell you all about that. And we've cut more holes in the back for the Ridetec suspension that comes right through the body there. It's actually quite a complicated fit, and I think they've actually modified it now, but the modification makes it a lot easier to install, but it's not half as beefy as the model that they sold us about a year and a half ago. And you know, we'll go into that when we do underneath the car, when we start installing it. But yeah, the bottom line is he wants to build like the ultimate second generation Camaro, and it's coming along very nicely. So this kind of gives you a little bit of an intro in what we're aiming for. Going to have a full custom interior, custom gauges. Basically it's going to be an old looking car with everything modern in it. So hopefully it will drive and perform like a very high-end performance car, but have that old muscle car look. Yet it will look quite refined with the flush fitting glass, the flush fitting bumpers, you know, all the slight modifications of it, including flat door handles, and it's just going to be a real sweet ride. Anyway, that's a little bit of an intro into what we expect at the end of the day with this car. He hasn't decided on the colour yet, and as you saw from a previous video, he had painted some model Camaros, and I think he's leaning towards a kind of a sublime green metallic right now, which on the surface doesn't sound that great, but man, if that's done right on kind of some of these older muscle cars, yeah, it really looks astonishing. Also hinging towards the burnt orange pearl type metallic, which would also be really nice. Anyway, I appreciate everybody who's following the videos, and really appreciate people subscribing, and hopefully I can keep these videos interesting for you. So just updating the Camaro build, and as you can see, Denny's been using the guide coat on it, the powdered variety, and he's already done this quite a few times, and so he's finessing the bodywork and block sanding, and he hasn't actually gone with the high build primer yet, but he still wants to get it perfect even before putting the high build primer on, and he will continue to do the block sanding at that point too. But as you can see, it's coming together nicely. He's also been test fitting everything, the glass. I think he's going to hang the doors today and just make the doors, sure the doors fit perfectly. And they've modernized the tail pan area here, and filled up the holes. They're going to do something different there. Coming along very nicely. So Denny, I noticed just a minute ago you were saying you were pulling out the old cork there. Why are you doing that?
Because that old caulk's expired. It's as old as I am. So you get rid of the old caulk, and then look what's underneath it, a bunch of rust.
That's interesting.
If you don't dig that out of there now, you may have a problem down the road. And on these high dollar builds, it's the way to do it. Wow. So, and sure enough, there's rust underneath there. Well, you have some critical issues on these doors right here. This is a critical issue. So that's full of that old caulk, and it's all cracked. It just takes one small crack to let water intrusion go down inside there. That's what gives you the rust hole at the bottom of your door skin.
Wow, well, that's good to know. I have to confess, when I've done my cars, I will use a wire brush and get rid of the loose stuff, but I've never actually picked out all the old cork and redone it, but that makes sense.
Well, we ordered a whole case of the good stuff, the urethane caulk, so we're going to put it to good use.
That's good. Well, I have been quite good with my corking from the point of view of I do re-cork everything, so at least I'm sealing over the old cork.
Yeah, you're better than most.
Yeah, so
most people forget that.
yeah, but this seems like definitely.
There's the tool of choice. It's a little better than a wire brush.
Oh wow, that looks.
It allows you to pinpoint. why you should get rid of it.
Yeah, you see a little bit of rust underneath there.
Yep, and guess what? That rust ain't gonna go away by putting a caulk over it.
No, it's just going to slowly
It's
get
gonna
rust.
get you.
Eventually. That's pretty good.